Well, today is technically Mario Day here in the United States, and Nintendo decided to drop a couple interesting announcements today. One of them being about, yes, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. We got a brand new trailer, a release date, file sizes, pricing. So we have all that to go over. They also dropped a new trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition. And what's cool about this trailer is we finally, man, it feels like we should have seen this ages ago. We finally get to see the single player content added to the game. And you know what? This Switch 2 edition is actually shaping up to be one of the beefier content editions of the Switch 2 edition era, I suppose you want to call this. More than that, we have some update on some new DLC coming for Resident Evil Requiem. And even an analyst out there kind of being honest and coming forward and pretty much telling it like I've kind of known, and that is that Nintendo is losing money on every unit of the Nintendo Switch 2 that's sold, at least in Japan. I find this to be really interesting. And then because we couldn't live react to the Mario Galaxy movie yesterday, that trailer, because look, I know other channels did it. I'm not them. I've had issues with copyright strikes every time I've tried covering the movie. We're going to go ahead and at least look at the new cast members and give some quick thoughts on those as well. Now, before we dive in, I just want to remind you, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 literally right now, whether you need a second one or you want one for your family or you want to keep one just boxed and unopened for collector's purposes. Maybe you just want to resell it, get some cash, go buy something else, take your lady out on a nice date. Do whatever you feel like. Guys, it's your Switch 2 if you win it. You can enter down through the link in the pinned comment or in the description. And we're going to hop over to our very first piece of news, and this one comes from Resident Evil. Now, I'm just going to read off some of the English text here because this is in Japanese, and it goes on to say this. Hello, everyone. I am Nakanishi, the director of Resident Evil Requiem. Our game was released on February 27th, and thanks to our players' overwhelming response, we've already sold over 5 million copies. On behalf of the development team, I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude. Thank you very much. We released an update the other day to fix a variety of issues, and we will continue to address any other bugs and performance issues. But that's not all. We're also planning to add more content. First, the much-awaited photo mode. On top of that, there may be another surprise coming around May. We're planning to add a mini game. We hope to continue providing support on Resident Evil Requiem to live up to its positive reception. Oh, one more thing. Whoops. Not this one. Story expansion now in development. We are planning to make extra story content. In this story, we delve deeper into the world of Requiem. We're hard at work on it now. It'll take some time, so we ask for your patience and hope you'll look forward to it. So there you go. There's your announcement. A brand new DLC, story DLC, coming to Resident Evil Requiem. Really excited. This game I'm playing through right now, it is a blast. Very horror, very scary, very on point. Next up, we get to maybe the biggest announcement today, and this is because it deals with a game previously announced, but now we have details about it we needed to have, and that is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. It's coming in May, and look, we're going to play the trailer for it here as I'm at Nintendo Life reading about all of this, and it says Nintendo is keeping the Mario 10-day announcements going as it just revealed the Switch 2 release date for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. The delightful Dinos platformer will arrive on Switch 2 on May 21st, and what do you know, there's even a new trailer to boot. It was revealed first through Nintendo Today. The new trailer introduces us to one of the many creatures you'll encounter in Yoshi's storybook world, Glubbit. These creatures spit out bubbles, which can then be hopped into to rise up to hard-to-reach places. The trailer progresses to show us how creatures will interact with different pieces of fruit to change their effects, which is a tad more experimentation than we're expecting from a Yoshi game. We still haven't seen a lot on this one, but we're likely to see more before May. And one thing to note here is obviously the price point. They are charging $59.99 for this. Remember, it is a Switch 2 only game, not on Switch 1. So it is a $60 game on Switch 2. But beyond that, they also announced the file sizes. Guys, this is a game that's 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes. That is massive. That is not as large as Mario Kart World, but that is basically larger than anything else Nintendo's ever put out. Could be just due to 4K assets, if they have 4K assets in there, or maybe this game is just much bigger and more in depth than we know right now, and we just need to see more of it, and we definitely will before the end of May. Whatever the case might be, this is really exciting stuff just to see Yoshi in the Mysterious Book even get this sort of hype. This was probably, I would say, the most I expected out of Mario Day beyond the Mario movie was just updates on things already announced, including Bella Bella Park and Yoshi in the Mysterious Book. Now, speaking of Bella Bella Park, we got to go ahead and play that one for you as well here, as I'm also over on Nintendo Life. And this is some interesting stuff here. So if you're hoping for some fun little reveals or announcements from Mario 10 Day, this is something. This is to do with the Meetup in Bella Bella Park DLC, which releases on March 26th. It's heavily focused on the local and online multiplayer modes, with a look at some of the customization options for the park itself, including the ability to place flowers across the environment, which is really cool. We also get a look at some of the main game additions, including Rosalina as a playable character, a new flower transformation, the double badge feature, allowing you to combine 2 perks from different badges. All in all, we're admittedly finding it quite difficult to get really excited about this one at Nintendo Life, but we're certain there'll be plenty for those out there. And the more and more you dig into this, the more and more content there seems to be. And they have like they tease at one point like the Koopalines coming in and all this stuff. Honestly, guys, it looks like it's pretty jam-packed. We already know they featured the multiplayer content a ton. I gotta say, I'm actually a little bit more excited for this DLC the more they show. Whether or not I decide to bite the bullet on it is going to be up in the air for now. Unless one of my children say, hey, Dad, I'd like to play the new content. Cool. Then I guess it's no longer up in the air. But for me personally, still up in the air till I see the reviews drop and I see how much single-player content is added. But right now, it's looking pretty packed. Definitely a lot more packed than we saw with something like the Jamboree TV DLC. All right, next up, we have a major analyst coming out and basically informing everyone Nintendo's losing quite a bit of money on every unit of Switch 2 they sell, especially in Japan. So an analyst estimates that Nintendo's losing $160 on every Japanese region locked Switch 2. That's $160 US. I want to note, I don't believe it's actually $160, but it is probably 100 plus, so we'll get into this in a moment. So for those in Japan, Nintendo released 2 versions of the Switch 2. One option is exactly the same as what we have in the States, but the other is region locked. Region locking means that hardware can only play games released in that region. So the Switch 2 in Japan is only able to access Japanese released titles. While that's certainly a more limiting experience, it also comes with a hefty price difference. The region locked Switch 2 for Japan clocks in at 49,980 yen, which equates to roughly $343. That is a very noticeable difference between the Switch 2 price and other regions. Obviously, that means less money made for Nintendo. But now one analyst has come forward with an estimate of just how much it's hurting the bank. According to Toyo Securities analyst Hideki Yasuda, Nintendo may be losing somewhere around $160 per region-locked unit sold. Yasuda came to this figure by combing through Nintendo's most recent financial results and comparing data between regions. Furthermore, Yasuda estimates that it costs Nintendo somewhere around $400 to produce. Obviously, Nintendo wants to make up this difference through software sold, but 160 is a rather steep deficit to make up. What I do find interesting about this is we do have shipping manifests that show it somewhere between $323 and $328 per unit to get it to customs at the U.S. border. Now, this was notable because this stuff was from last year. Shipping manifests from last year showing that prices have changed on things. RAM prices have gone up. Other things have gotten more expensive. So that 323 to 328 is likely even more expensive, and that's to get it to the U.S. from Vietnam. Now, I will note the units in Japan are coming from China. They're not components being shipped to Vietnam to assemble and then shipped to the U.S. They're actually just made and assembled in China. So in theory, that should make the prices slightly cheaper than having to go through another country to get it assembled and shipped to the U.S. That being said, obviously the tariffs between China and Japan are very, very low. I think it's like 2.5% maximum. So it's very, very low tariffs. So I don't know that Nintendo is selling it at a huge price loss. I think they are selling it for a loss, but the loss comes from the fact that they're still going to give retail a cut. So they're selling it to a loss to retail. Retail gets to sell it at a certain price. They get to make a certain profit margin on that price, and Nintendo does lose money. I don't think they're losing $160 per unit, at least compared to manufacturing costs. Even their number doesn't support that, where he says it's about $400 to produce, and if they're selling it at $343, that's only like a $57 loss. Now you got to throw a little bit on top because there's a retail margin, let's say a $70 to $80 loss. I do think that is possibly reasonable here, depending on the cost of everything for Japan. But yeah, I don't think it's losing 160. I think it's somewhere between $50 to $80 in loss per unit there. Now, what does that translate over here? Well, we all know with the old tariffs and everything, Nintendo was basically breaking even on what they were selling to retail, because a truck hijacking revealed Nintendo was selling to retail $410 per unit. So that $40 difference in there, that is retail margin. So what does that mean for us today? We have no idea, because all these numbers are from last year. We don't know what's changed. We don't know if things have gotten more expensive. We don't know what the RAM and everything. We do know they probably still are selling for a loss in Japan, and highly likely selling for at least at cost, if not a slight loss here in the US. The rest of the world, I don't know. I don't know enough about your local economies and your local tax situation to know anything about what it's doing there, but could speak to two of their two major regions so far, because we have some information on that. Now, our last story here is about the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Can't show you the trailer, but we can talk about the new cast members. So Donald Glover being Yoshi was probably the one that shocked people the most. I really like Donald Glover and his work. A lot of us first met this guy not doing Childish Gambino and other stuff. How about in the Community show? Guys, remember Community? Yeah, he was the guy in there. He's been in a lot of stuff, actually, and is a really funny actor. But yeah, did the Childish Gambino thing for a bit. Then you see Wart is being voiced by Luis Guzman, who appears to have a pretty major role in the actual movie. Runs a whole area, it looks like. So pretty cool about that. And I think he's a great voice for that character. Honey Queen, which we do not see in the actual trailer, which is surprising they revealed who this person is, considering they're not even being revealed before the movie comes out, is by Issa Rae, which I'm sure Issa Rae did a fantastic job. And you know, while we see Yoshi and Wart in the final trailer, we have not seen footage of Honey Queen. As I said, Honey Queen hasn't even been revealed, but now we just know obviously Honey Queen's going to be in the movie. You're not seeing Wario mentioned at all. It makes people wonder if the Wario leaks were maybe fake. We'll have to wait and see, of course, because everything's not being revealed before the dang movie comes out. That being said, folks, I am Nathaniel Rebel Jets from Nintendo Prime. Let me know what you think about all of this Mario Day edition news down below. And I guess the question has to be asked now, are you a little worried now that we have a Switch 2 exclusive schedule in May, that maybe Nintendo's going to be like, you know what? No General Direct until June. The stars are aligning, are they not? Maybe not in the way you hoped. Unless, you know, it doesn't matter to you because you're really excited by Pokopia, you're really excited for Tamagotchi Life coming up, and Yoshi, and these games are just all for you. That is awesome. For me, the next game on the slate from Nintendo, at least that they have scheduled, will probably be either the Dust Bloods and or Fire Emblem that interests me, and those are both looking like their second half of the year games. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. I'm Nathaniel Rebel Jets from Nintendo Prime, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.